Hello and welcome to Move the Line Prop Drop Show presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Ryan Noonan back to talk about the best way, the most profitable way to bet on NFL football, and that is through player props live here, 2 p.m. Eastern every Friday. My friends on the 4for4 Bets YouTube channel giving out our favorite player props and taking your questions. So if you're hanging out with us now on YouTube, jump in the chat, let us know what your favorite prop for week 7 is. If you want our thoughts on the play, something that is not on the board yet, anything like that, feel free to ask. We'll get to as many as we can here at the end of the show. Joining us live on YouTube is really the best way to get the same number and same price on these props. If you prefer the podcast version, we appreciate that as well. Should be in your feed later on Friday evenings. Subscribe to both. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe, thumbs up. All those things go a long way in helping us supporting the free content here that we're doing on 4for4. We appreciate it. Joining me here, as always, Connor Allen. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. We're coming off a pretty wild week. Last week, we hit our Bryce Young play on the show. I hit, my under on the show as well. Slop hated it, but we got there. We almost won our 300-1 parlay. We were close. I mean, we were very live.
Who missed?
Like one more. It was Waddle. Waddle missed, and I think Bryce Young fell like 10 yards short. It was like 100 yards. So it was like a 60-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle, and we win whatever it was, like it was 300-1, so it was like a 30K or something like that. It was insane. So awesome week. Excited to be back. And live listeners, I mean, 2 weeks ago, David Montgomery overs and alts. During the show, we were talking about a practice report came out, banger. Last week, Raheem Mostert, overs and alts, mid-show, telling people slam it, banger. Cash both of those. So hopefully get some more info today and can make some more money.
Yeah, I actually had my first official play losing week of the season, just giving a little bit of it back. Personally, I won money because AJ Brown alts and Raheem Mostert alts, as we kind of had in our Discord on Friday, was made up for all of it. So hopefully we can give you some more. We got a couple of bangers on the slate here, I know, so I'm sure we'll have some overlap. We can build a similar same game parlay and see if we can print some 5-figure slips here. We get pretty close last week. Obviously, the other man here, batting third for us, joining us from Odds Jam. Put him third because he drives everyone in. It's the RBI spot, and that's what this guy does. Again, on Twitter, @SlopRules, John Highslop. Slop, how we doing today, bud?
Just living the dream, man. Living the dream. I can't wait for this weekend, to be honest with you.
Yeah, smaller slate because we have 6 teams on bye, but doesn't mean we are going to have big full cards, full slate next week. No one gets a bye, so we'll have even more, meat on the bone to pick from. So excited to jump into it. Before, I want to remind you, 2 episodes of Move the Line each week. Connor and myself are joined by Sharp Clark, who just tackles sides and totals like nobody's business. That's our game preview show. That's on Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern. Over on here, same place. 4 p.m. Eastern, no matter where you're finding us, YouTube podcast there as well. You can check out that every week too. And a great time if you want to get into the Discord, perfect time to check out our betting subscription of 4for4. That's where our official plays are posted in the Discord, which is hopping all the time. We got NBA starting on Tuesday. Those guys are absolutely chomping at the bit to get fired up and fire at the NBA product every night. They get to, build ladders every night. We get to build it once a week. They're all the time firing on these things. Everything that we do at 4for4 is covered in the betting subscription. So if you're still grinding season long, you like to play DFS, you want to get into the pick'em games like Prize Picks, Underdog, Vivid Picks. We have channels in our Discord for all that stuff. Literally all the articles, tools, rankings, projections, all that stuff over at 4for4. It's already discounted because we're in week 7, but you use promo code PropDrop, name of the show here, get you an additional 25% off, which is, again, already like 25% off. So you're almost half off of what our normal subscription price is. Again, hey, maybe season-long stuff's not going so well. You want to get in there, you want to get in these streets and start betting a little bit, get into these player props, the easiest way to transition. You don't want to be full-on Sharp Clark, laying 10.5 against on the Broncos in Kansas City. That's not for everyone. But player props, you can jump in, take advantage. Again, promo code PropDrop over at 4for4.com/plans. All right, Connor, floor is yours. No stale bread, live lines, all available for our people right now. Floor is yours. Week 7, what do you got for us?
All right, we're starting it off with an over. Again, got to make Slop happy off the beginning here. Can't start it off with a wet blanket. Tua Tagovailoa, we're going to go over 272.5 passing yards. Talked about it a little bit on the Wednesday show here, but I think that this Eagles defense here is a little bit overrated. So two of the Dolphins offense so far, electric, tops in basically every passing defense or passing offensive metric. Eagles defense so far, 31st in explosive pass rate allowed, despite 4 of their games coming against basically bottom tier passing attacks, the Patriots, Commanders, Bucks, Jets. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings are basically the only competent passing attack that they played. They allowed 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Eagles are also a massive pass funnel, so their run defense is playing super well. Their pass defense has been fine, but still a little bit banged up. Safety Reed Blankenship looks like he's going to miss. Didn't practice yesterday. Bradley Roby, another corner, maybe banged up as well. So I think they're going to really see something that they haven't so far. I like Tua and the Dolphins to pass a bunch here, and I think I might be including it again in my hot takes next in the next segment here, but I think that over 272 is a little bit light here. I think we have like 285 to 290 projected, and I think you can play alts as well. There's a 375 plus at 9-1 at Caesars, which is money. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting alt there, but there's a couple other ones we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, love the spot for all things passing game here. Yeah, Justin Evans, the other starting safety, he's on IR, so they're dealing with backup safeties at both spots in this game. You know, Darius Slay looks like he's going to play, but he's dinged up. You mentioned Bradley Roby at slot corner, so like Philly is kind of beat up in a number of spots. Slop, any thoughts here on Tua and in this game environment, which I think is going to be electric for sure?
Tua, it was my banger for the next segment here. It was 75 plus 1100 at Caesars right now. I did that on the Thunder. I already took that. I think he's going to get that. I think he can go 400 plus. I'm dead serious. Like that's not crazy to say. Just for all the things that Connor mentioned, literally he said everything that the whole reason why I was looking at this. Like they are a pass funnel. I do not think the Dolphins are going to be overrun on them. And I think McDaniels or what's his name, Mike.
Yeah,
Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, him. Yeah. I think he knows. Like I think he's that kind of coach that'll just go in there knowing, all right, we're not going to be able to run. Just start it off. Just go. And they're the kind of team that wants to score 60 every time out. It's not like, hey, let's hold the ball. Let's be strategic here. It's just like, hey, let's just put it in the end zone and then make the other team outscore. So I think that he can go 400 plus. Like I really think that. I can't wait to watch this too.
Yeah, I can't wait to. My crazy ladder same game parlay section for sure is derivatives off of this game as well, which I thought there'd be a chance that we were all on the spot where this is a game that there's just so much ceiling. There's so much ceiling to the alphas in this game. And love it. I love the over, love the play, Connor, love the look. And we'll expand on that here momentarily. Unless you got something else you want to say.
No, it's just so much fun to build SGPs with the Dolphins because they actually have a chance to hitting. Like it's like most teams you're looking at like 100 plus receiving yards. You're like, that's kind of tough. It's a stretch. I mean, Tyreek Hill, that's like automatic. Jalen Waddle, I mean, he's due. So we'll talk about it more in the next segment.
Yeah. All right, Slop, what do you got, buddy? What's the first play here for week 7?
How about somebody in the chat kind of stole my thunder too. So Michael Mayer, the Raiders, they're playing the Bears. I just took his over 2.5 receptions plus 150 at DraftKings, so we'll do that one too. But I also have his over 20.5 at DraftKings. Look, I think it was minus 125. I can't remember what I got. The best line's at BetMGM right now. It's minus 115, but they'll only let me bet like $9, so you got to go somewhere else. But like, I think that guy is like a part of their offense. Like, I don't think it's just like he jumped over Austin Hooper and that's it. Like last week, he played 81% of the snaps. They looked at him early. Hoyer looked at him later in the game too, so we're all good there. It's not like he's like a Jimmy G thing. I think he's going to catch at least 3 balls. Like the Bears, for all the things that they don't do well, which is a lot, they kind of stop the run a little bit, and the Raiders don't really have a run. So, like, passing the ball against them, we're talking about a backup quarterback game here. So it could get weird. Like, throwing the ball, I think only 6 teams have given up more receiving yards to tight ends this season than they have. Dude, 2.5 catches is such a low bar to get over, especially at plus 150.
That's a great number. Yeah, that must have just come out. I mean,
yeah, just did.
Yeah, just increased usage and not a standard, blocking inline tight end only. Like they moved him out, they put him in the slot a little bit. They found ways to get him involved. And I do like the point that I don't think it really matters that we don't know who's playing quarterback there, but that's nice matchup here. Nice safety blanket for whoever's playing quarterback. Any thoughts on that, Connor? I mean, plus 150 for 2.5 receptions. It's a pretty low bar. We don't even need him to really do anything. You can catch it and fall down.
Yeah, I like the yards too, 20.5 that Kyle Baker mentioned there in the chat. I think both are really solid. They talked about it 2 weeks ago, and it was like in a press conference that they were talking about like, hey, should we get Michael Mayer? Like, well, why is he not playing very much? And, the offense coordinator was like, oh, well, we're going to get him more involved. He's earned more playing time. He's really good. Like, so we're going to get him the ball more. The next 2 weeks, he's been running way more routes. He's been popping off. So I guess my only concern would be Aiden O'Connell / Brian Hoyer. I think probably going to see O'Connell, right? That's what I would guess. But I think that's still fine. He's still been getting there, so I don't think that really matters. And the bar is so low that I don't think it really matters that much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good look, Slop. I like it quite a bit.
I kind of want the bad quarterback. You know what I mean? Like for the tight end, because you'll just see him just, all right, there he is, dump it off, done. Like he's going to catch balls that, the route wasn't even going to him just because the quarterback's bad. I think O'Connell had like 200 something yard, 230 something in his start too. So I'm not that afraid of him, but
he was going full Jameis. Like he was throwing some straight up YOLO balls and like triple coverage. I respect it. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I mean, that's fun. Make the NFL fun again,
Mm-hmm. And again, at the end of the day, it's 2.5. Like, come on.
Yeah. So you're not dead. That you could be the last drive of the game with 0 catches. And you got a shot on that one. So not dead until the end there. All right. First look for me. I'm kind of staying in this lane. I've been doing it typically with running backs with longest rushes successfully. I think that play, if you were here last week, is probably still viable again this week. Let's, shout out, call back to our OG listeners. But I'm going to do a longest reception play here. We are going to go with Christian Watson, longest reception over 22.5 yards. Readily available. Rivers out at minus 108, DK minus 110, same on MGM. Caesars right there, minus 111. Watson's ADOT is absolutely nuts. 19.8 yards per target. Again, smaller sample size because he's missed some time, but just wild average depth of target. Guess who was allowing the largest yards per attempt all season? The Denver Broncos, a team that we've been basically a punching bag for, any props so far this season. On top of that, Watson is a pretty decent for, guy who runs deep, pretty decent yards after the catch guy. And that's actually been a problem for Denver as well. 53.2% of the receiving yards against them have been yak, which is the 5th highest rate in the league. And look, the Jordan Love situation has been kind of hit or miss, right? It's been pretty inaccurate. It's not been great. But the one thing that's working for him is the O-line is giving him a ton of time. When you look at time to pressure rate, the Packers offensive line is the best in the league. Love has a ton of time to sit back and throw. So sometimes when you worry about longest reception prop, like especially with a guy with an ADOT like this, he needs time to work down the field or he's going to have it here. Because also the Broncos 31st in pressure rate on the season, they basically have just cut all of their pass rushers. Like no one that can get a pass rush is even on the team anymore. So kind of a great spot to highlight the strength for Watson and a weakness for the Broncos. And again, love this price here, 22.5. Readily available, minus 108 on Rivers. So, Connor, any thoughts here to expand? I know we talked about it earlier in the week, and I think you like it too.
Yeah, Jordan Love has been really bad under pressure, but like as you mentioned, the Broncos don't get pressure, and Packers offensive line has been pretty good at withstanding that. But without pressure, his ADOT is massive. Like he does not care to throw the ball underneath and take some safe plays. He wants to get as much as he can when he can. So it's just like one of those things where now Watson's healthy, ran way more routes. I like it. I think that the longest reception, I probably prefer that. I would say longest receptions or alts, and then maybe the standard line, just because he's going to be so boom or bust. If he hits that long one, you're cashing basically everything. If he doesn't, you're probably losing the binary prop anyway. So I think that that's probably my favorite looks on the way to approach Watson here. Yeah,
I think we're up to 52.5 on his receiving line, opened at 48.5, but even that was the same process. Like I still liked the longest reception look. Anyway, is this something that can wet your beak here a little bit, Slop? What do you think on Watson?
That's the only way I think I'd play that, just because you don't want to go, with any type of volume. But yeah, like I actually played him a couple weeks ago longest reception. He caught the bomb again, like whoever it was. I think it was a prime time game. But yeah, that's the way you play Christian Watson if you're going to play him. Longest reception.
Yeah, I love that spot. Still out there again, everywhere, decent prices for the most part. DraftKings looks like they're moving a little bit, but still readily available. So, all right, let's get wonky. I feel like we're gonna have some interesting thoughts here. Let's go same game parlays. Let's go ladders, alts, whatever we want to do. Connor, if you want to take the floor, build off of I think probably what you already did.
Yeah, so I built out a little SGP here that involved one of your props too that you played already this week. So I think we're probably going to be a little combo SGP here, but it's 357 to 1. I bet $30 to win $10,000 and $700. So it's in the Dolphins-Eagles game, Sunday Night Football.
Let's go.
Tua Tagovailoa, 350 plus passing yards and 3 touchdowns. So again, you're betting on a ceiling outcome there. That was the max all that you could do. I paired him with Jalen Waddle at 125 plus instead of Tyreek. Again, I know that that's a little scary because his usage has not been great, but one of these games is going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And he's going to go off for like 200 receiving yards, and I think that it's going to be here. It's just one of those things where his ADOT and his usage was so good last year, and he was so explosive and getting so many long plays that I just struggle to think that just because he's had a couple bad games in a row where you haven't seen that explosiveness, that it won't just happen. So I think in this spot here is for a lot of the reasons the matchup wise, I think we're going to see potential explosion game here, especially if Tua throws for a lot. And then I added DeAndre Swift, 100+ rushing yards. You talked about it there. Great matchup on the ground. He's been seeing the majority of the work. I don't know, anything you wanted to add on that one? That was –
No, I love him in this spot. I think he's 61.5 rushing yards is what I played. The Miami defense just really hasn't faced anyone that's had to been able to run on them because they blow everyone out and just kind of flip the script. And I think Philly is able to do so. Lane Johnson looks like he's trending in the right direction. Yeah, I love Swift, and I think he's really taken over that alpha role there. So yeah, I love building him into this parlay.
Also, so I was a 5-legger. I added AJ Brown, 125 is the last leg there. Devonta Smith
100.
Banged up. Xavier Howard, I don't know if he's going to play or injured. If he is playing injured, and either way, AJ Brown against man coverage has been like an absolute animal, like one of the best in the leagues. Coming off 4 straight 125 plus yard games.
Mm-hmm.
Has just been cooking. So I don't know. Again, one of those things where any other team, any other matchup, this sounds completely outrageous. But in this game, and we're getting 350 to 1 on things that I think is actually very, very reasonable.
I absolutely love it. I'm going to do iterations of it. I would love to get more creative and have something else in the card, but I think, finding different ways to get access to this game and the ceiling outcomes, which I think to Slop's point with his, pro Tyreek stuff, like it just feels more attainable than the other spots where we're talking about ceiling outcomes. Like this game environment, again, weather permitted, but I don't even think the weather looks like it's going to be that much of an issue. I think maybe it's helping us keep these prices down, to be honest. I think this is a game that can go absolutely bonkers. Slop, what do you got here in the, same game parlay ladder section of the show?
So Tua, obviously the 375. Tyreek Hill also at Caesars 150 plus is plus 500. Every time he's been over 100 yards, it's been like 150 plus every time, like 4 out of 6 games, I think. So
yeah, if you can get down on PointsBet at all, PointsBet has 155 plus at 6 to 1.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. PointsBet seems to have pretty awesome alt lines here if you have the ability to get down on PointsBet at all.
Have they changed anything with Fanatics? Have they lightened the limits at all or done anything, or is it all just?
I've had better luck. I had better luck last week. Was kind of the first time I took some shots with some of the AJ Brown stuff. And was able to get down more than before. So I haven't put out like standard bets there typically because they're usually late to the game. But I was encouraged. So we'll see. Ladder's a little bit easier.
Yeah, like they literally have the same. It looks just like PointsBet. Fanatics does. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's like you're on PointsBet.
Yeah, it says PointsBet Fanatics right next to each other. It's the same interface.
It's literally the same thing. But no, so they have Hill 155 plus. You're saying?
Yeah, Hill 155 plus 6 to 1. AJ Brown 155 plus 15 to 1.
Hill 170 plus 1100.
We're breaking records out here, baby.
Listen. Though we joke, but all right, Tyreek Hill in games where we're throwing the ball, 163, 181, 157, 215. Like those are the 4 times he's been over 100. The other games was New England, where they got kind of wild, and Buffalo. They got rolled, and I think Buffalo has a decent pass defense, so I'll give him a pass there. But the other 4 games, I mean, dude, they were doing to the Giants, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Chargers. I mean, even I guess bad teams, they even keep the gas pedal down. So 170 plus is not that crazy for plus 1100. Like
there's a bunch of prop sites that build their entire handicap off of amount of times it's happened. He's done it 4 out of 6 times this year. That's, you put it in a graph and put it in the chart, and you would tell you that he's got a 66.7% hit rate, going over 155 plus. It's not wild. It's a thing.
All right, so am I allowed to change my mind on the Tua thing? Because I just found I didn't know they were doing this at Fanatics. 400 plus is plus 1500.
Oh my gosh! You already did that this year.
I think that's in play. I really do. I don't think that's that ridiculous because what's going to happen if the Dolphins come out firing, and which they will, but if it's working, the Eagles can keep up. They're going to try and hold the ball probably. There is that risk that they'll go on one of those 8-minute drives. That sucks. But the Dolphins can score back on them. They just keep going. So it could turn into one of those games where it's 41-40 to just ridiculous, weird games. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's plus 1500.
No, I mean, if he does it, you have to. I mean, may as well add, Tyreek to a degree, and you put Tyreek in there at 125, and now it's 22-1.
Or
he's not getting to 400 without Tyreek getting a buck and a quarter.
70.
Yeah, right. So it makes a ton of sense. I love all of it. Same thing. I'm with you guys. I think you should have some iterations of some ceiling outcomes in this game, folks. You should. It's first of all, it's an Island game on a Sunday night. We've had some pretty crappy Island games. I hope we've had some pretty crappy, supposedly marquee games. I'm really hoping this one kind of bucks the trend. And I think from not even a football standpoint, but I think from a cheering for ceiling outcomes, cheering for overs, cheering for, insane type of outcomes, I think we do have a spot where I feel pretty good about it here this week. So yeah, we're in the right neighborhood.
Yeah. No,
totally. So last thing is I'd probably recommend doing all this stuff at Fanatics if you can, because they have the highest ceilings that I found.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this existed today. I'm going in. Right?
They also now are letting you, and this seems new to me, and maybe it's not, because again, I don't have a lot of volume here typically, but they have alt pass attempts, alt completions, and then they also have alt receptions on the receivers end too. So in terms of building out some different iterations of same game parlays, you can get pretty multiple over here. Again, if you can get down anything whatsoever.
Yeah, no, you're right. I've been dreaming of the day you could do alt attempts.
Oh yeah,
that's living right there, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Alt team totals.
The team total thing. So yeah, I mean, this is my favorite degenerate bet of the week. I know Connor knows about this. I've been doing it for a couple of years. I take bad teams and I tease the total up. 24.5, 28.5. I take good teams. I tease the total down 16.5, 19.5, and I'll build multi-leg parlays. I've hit 3 in a row that have all been 7 and 8 leggers that are
7
embarrassing.
leggers?
Yeah, because I'm taking you take the Bills against the Patriots over 16.5, and I take the Patriots under 28.5. So it's a bunch of legs. You get it to 3-1. It's a nice little, it's a nice little parlay, So yeah, you have a crap ton of legs theoretically, but yeah, it's something that you could do on Fanatics if you are able to play around. So yeah, I'm gonna stay here. I want to more stuff. I want AJ Brown involved too. I know that Devonta Smith is due, but what AJ Brown is doing right now is pretty sick, and Yeah, I think other guys can get in the mix. Like AJ Brown's doing it on like a lot of big plays. He's not doing it on like this insane amount of target volume. So you can do some different things. If you can bring the quarterbacks in it too. But if you just wanted AJ Brown and Tyreek both at 125 plus, which I think we all agree is very attainable, 16-1 for
Really?
AJ Brown and Tyreek to get 125 plus on Fanatics.
Dude, 34.5 points for Miami plus 425. Dude, throw that in.
Yeah, you do that same thing. Both of those two with 125 plus. You add Tua at 275, which Connor already put a stamp of approval on. Hurts at 225, 19-1. Like we're not even getting that wild. Which again, I know having two receivers, get there. But again, the game state, like the way that they're going to play off of each other, like that does help. The way that these are correlated does matter in this sense. So. You take AJ Brown all the way up to 155 at 15-1. You almost got, I think he was 15-1 last week at 140, and I felt really good when they threw that pick six and they got the ball back. I'm like, because I took the ladders all the way up there and I needed 9 more yards for him. We just like overthrew him on first down, and that was kind of it. But he got real close in that game against a significantly tougher pass defense. So the Miami pass D is not something that should be scaring us here. So, you want to get wonky. You want to layer in Devonta Smith. No problem with that. You want to add Jalen Waddle. I think you can do that as well. But, I mean, just the things you can do with some pretty attainable numbers of Tyreek and A.J. Brown, I think is something I highly, highly recommend. So, yeah, play around with that. FanDuel also has some decent prices. I think Caesar does as well.
Yeah, the weather, I was looking into this just now, not going to be that bad. So it's like 15-mile-per-hour winds, gusts up to 20. That's totally fine. We don't really see big impact until there's like strong winds, 20-plus, like can sustain, and I don't think we're going to get that. Also, I think with Tyreek and Waddle, a lot of it's like there's plenty of short to intermediate explosive plays, so it's not just like they're gunning it 40 yards downfield over the opponent's head. It's like
1,000%.
Short to intermediate stuff that they're just so much faster than everyone else. Same with AJ Brown. I mean,
that's why I love him. Connor, that's exactly right. Like that's exactly right. Like the guy catches 5-6 yards away from line of scrimmage, it's a 45-yard gain. You're just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
But
Cantor shouting out Fanatics points bad if you can. AJ Brown and Tyreek to both go 155 plus 100-1.
My gosh.
I'm gonna have so many different on this. Like it's one of those ones at the end when the game's like 17-13 final. And
you're gonna lost everything.
I have no idea. But yeah, I just think it's gonna happen. So you just gotta go, right? I mean.
Yeah. I think you gotta throw a bunch of different iterations out there. Some that are taking you to the ceiling, some that are taking you to lower legs of the ladder for sure. I think you gotta have some exposure to this in some way. So again, we're talking about Fanatics. This is available. You can do some of these things on other books too, like Caesars, FanDuel, DraftKings has alts. They don't typically go as high. So this is not something that is just Fanatic specific. They just typically right now we're finding that they have the best prices for this specific game. So check it out if you can. All right, now that we have, I think, shot our full load on Miami and Philadelphia. I don't want to say, hey, if you guys have another one, go for it. We can still continue there. But
like I need to be done. I don't like my balance zero, and it's all going to be on like wild like Dolphins Eagles props.
Yeah. Connor, I'm going to give you the floor again. If you want to give us another just basic prop for week 7, what do you got going?
It gets even better than a basic prop here because we're going with an under. James Cook under 55.5 rushing yards against the Patriots this week. Latavius Murray technically got the first carries last week. He's been getting more and more work. And I think that's gone under the radar here because I thought this line was going to be in like the mid to high 40s. And so now we're getting a spot here where they keep using more and more Latavius Murray, and Latavius Murray's looked good. Now they get a Pats run defense allowing just 3.48 yards per carry. They're second in rushing success rate. They're good on early downs, at least the run defense wise. So I don't know. I kind of think here that like 55.5, it's going to take a long one for James Cook to get there. Like, I mean, he literally only had 2 more carries than Latavius Murray last week, and they combined for 26 carries. Like, that's a lot of rushing attempts. That's not going to be the case every week. So It seems like in a tough matchup here where his projectable volume, I think it's anywhere in like the 8 to 12, 13 carry range here. You could easily fall under 55 rushing yards.
Yeah, the emergence of Latavius Murray being like the dude there is pretty interesting. I know this is not something that you like, Slop. I know we've had some success. We've cashed some nice tickets earlier this season on James Cook. Any thoughts on this rushing attack here against New England with looks like Harris out for this game? So kind of a two-headed monster with Cook and Murray.
I have it like scratched off. Like I didn't even look into it at all. There's dude, going down the list, there's so many games. I was like, yeah, I'm not even like looking at that. That was one of them. The Giants Commanders was one. Browns Colts even, because they're all unders. So I bet like Connor was like Christmas for him. Probably seeing all these like 30s and low 40s totals. He's ready to roll. But I just crossed my. I can't even look.
Yeah, our tracking guy put together some of our like data so far this year. I'm hitting 75% of my running back unders, and I have like 4 this week already. But you'd be so happier to know that I lost Alvin Kamara's rushing under on the last play of last week or the Thursday game because they literally had 43 rushing yards. They took under 52. They did a draw with a minute 30 left last night, and he got 15 yards or whatever it was. And he had 15 rushing yards, and I lost. I'm like, literally a minute 30 left. They're driving the field. What are they doing running the ball?
And he's a receiver now too. The guy's catching like 10 balls. So he's like, you know what? I'm not a running back when it comes contract time. He's going to show him his receiving numbers.
Yeah, that's not what I thought that Slop would like here, but I think it's sound, and I think it's smart to lean into what's winning, right? If you seem like maybe you have an edge, lean into that a little bit.
You always want to try to win. Like both those guys, they're looking to get money out of this. So if you like money, I would take that.
It's kind of a thing, yeah, but it works really well. It's my favorite part of the whole thing, to be honest. Slop, to you, bud. What is your third look here for the week?
I really don't have a lot more outside of the Mayer, whatever, and the million Dolphins Eagles. But one I will look for is possibly look into Lamar Jackson's over in passing yards. Like I think maybe Detroit might be for real, and if they are, they could hang points on them. And if that happens, Lamar Jackson over, I think it's like 212 or something like that. I'm looking at it now. Hang on, 216.5. I think that, you go 225 right there and just kind of call it a day. It's not the sexiest bet in the world, but at the same time, plus 110 on Lamar to throw for 225 yards in a game where they could trail. Even though they're at home, I think that kind of helps us. I think Detroit will score on them. I don't think Baltimore's going to be able to run the ball like they want to. We just need a big player, maybe 2, and we're probably home there. But I haven't locked that in yet. So full disclosure, if you look at my picket, it's not going to be there because I haven't done it yet. I'm still kind of working through. I got stuck this morning on Mayer, and then I got stuck again on the Eagles Dolphins. I'm still stuck there. And now that I found points bet, or whatever I found, Fanatics, I don't know that I know what I'm doing for the rest of the day at least. I don't. Yeah, so maybe I don't get there because tomorrow's Saturday. Obviously, that's college football day. But I'll probably end up Lamar somehow, some way, and if I do, it'll be 225 plus 110.
Yeah, I do think that Detroit is real, but that doesn't mean that Lamar can't get it done there. Connor, have you looked at the weather there too? I know earlier in the week we were thinking there was going to be some weather issues in that one. Does that look okay right now, or do you have any thoughts on that matchup to talk about Lamar specifically?
Weather-wise, looking at sustained 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, gusts 30 miles per hour. So it's on the border. Again, if it becomes sustained 20 plus, I think it could certainly become a little bit worse here. That's obviously too with Jared Goff. We don't really want to back him with any weather issues because he's got little baby hands. So we don't want. So small. Yeah, literally, he's got little children's mitts. So I think that it's tough because both their run defenses are really good, and Baltimore's pass defense has played well. So it's kind of a weird game here where it's how much do we factor in their metrics versus who they played versus. Because Detroit's only played one basically good passing offense and they shredded them like Seattle. And so I don't know. I go back and forth on it. I played a Gus Edwards under as well on the rushing yards, but again, I'm a sicko for unders. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we love you and your issues. It's okay. You're consistent, so it works for you. I am going to. Well, we have a couple here, so I'm going to do one, and then you and I have one together, which we're going to get out here. First, I'll go with this one I was surprised to kind of stumble into, and I thought was a great line. Curtis Samuel, over 35.5 receiving yards. This one's kind of bouncing around between 34.5, 36.5. But I was able to just get down to 35.5. This is on, if you have Prop Builder, if you have DraftKings, Caesars, MGM, all out there. I mean, he's averaging 47.5 per game. This is a little surprising. He's topped this in 5 straight, all but week 1, and we're way off market there. And now his matchup against the Giants is really nice. The Giants run man coverage at the second highest rate. They blitz a ton. We know that's kind of their MO. They're going to do that a lot in this matchup. And Curtis Samuel plays primarily like almost 70% of his routes so far this season coming out of the slot. His yards per route run jumps from 1.37 against zone to 1.92 against man. Pretty significant jump. Again, he's not playing full time, like 70% of the routes, but still he's run 42 fewer routes than Jahan Dotson this season. He has 2 more targets. He has 2 more targets and 10 more receptions than Jahan Dotson. Like, he has 2 fewer receptions than Terry McLaurin. So like, Curtis Samuel is a massive part of this passing game. So 35.5, not a high threshold for him to do based off of his workload. So I like this one quite a bit. If you like taking alt overs there, like you could take 50 plus, for like probably 3-1 or something on Curtis Samuel. I haven't looked at that, but that's, plus 250 or something like that. I think he's going to be very much involved in this game. So like Curtis Samuel. Connor, do you have any thoughts on this matchup with someone that you probably didn't look at? Because this is not your style. You would grab a Curtis Samuel under, probably.
I would, but the matchup is really, really good. The Giants defense sucks. I mean, they are just like terrible at everything. So I don't like backing unders against like absolutely horrible defenses. So it was kind of just a stay away from me. I didn't even look at it, but the usage is interesting. I just can't get a grasp of that because we saw Logan Thomas, the insane usage, right? And then they were like, they called him out on it. They're like, why is Logan Thomas like the focal point of your offense? And Eric Bieniemy then he saw his routes decrease and he had like 1 target, I think, last week. And so that was a little strange. I thought that was probably just a result of them not passing very much, but I think he'll be more involved. I think Curtis Samuel will continue to be involved. Also, Jahan Dotson now holding kicks. I don't know if you saw that working with the special teams coach.
Yeah,
I know. Because I know you were a Dotson stan too. So I think, but Curtis Samuel was like automatic in the prop market last year, if you remember that. I mean, that was like he was automatic over. So I don't know if he's seeing more work. Dotson's kind of seeing less. I think it's probably a good look.
Slop, any thoughts on Washington passing game here?
I hate that game at all. Like the thought of like waking up Sunday and being like, "Yo, I'm gonna throw on the Giants Commanders because I have something that just makes me sick." But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I would look at the 50 plus on Samuel. I was a very big Dotson guy, and I hate the emergence of Samuel, and he's there to stay. Like they're gonna throw him the ball. They're using him. They love him. Somebody in the fantasy space was huge on him for like years when he was with the Panthers. I don't remember who that was, but like huge on him. So every time I see him, like I think that guy was right, I guess, because here he is years later.
Took him a while.
Like you know what I mean? He's still here, just like ruining other guys' fantasy props. So yeah, like he'll definitely go over. But 50 plus is probably where I'd look first.
Yeah, let me see what the 50 plus number is. He might not even have a 50 plus number because he does. So
someone will
DraftKings plus 175. I'm guessing there's probably better out there.
Yeah,
but
Fanatics probably.
Fanatics probably better based off of
plus 2,000 guys. Let's roll.
Ben added here. Ben Carey, Capwise, said points bet has some really off market lines for props across the board for Sunday, moving very slow. Yeah, guys, and just a shout out here. Like, obviously, we can't release to all of our subscribers like some of these lines, but like if you're just betting for yourself and trying to maximize the amount of money you're making, like just smash some of these terrible books. I mean, they're just posting lines that are way off. Like, I mean, you're probably gonna get your account cooked, but I mean, you're not probably looking to make this a full-time job forever. So like, just get what you can down and take advantage. And then whenever you're done with PointsBet, close up shop and go somewhere else, like everyone else.
To piggyback off that, your account's going to get cooked anyways at one of those books. So it's only a matter of time. So you might as well take them for as much as you can.
100%.
Because even if you're wrecking them on the standard lines, they're still gonna hit.
Oh
you.
yeah,
they are. I don't care what anyone says. Like BetMGM was one, not to call them out or anything, but like I was just standard lines over there. That was it. I wasn't even like going all during. So I can bet $10 there. So you're gonna get cooked anyway. So take them for as much as possible.
Yeah, take advantage of it. So, all right, good. This isn't a play that Connor and I talked this afternoon about because I've shifted into a defensive first mode in terms of props that I focus on. So anytime I have offensive props that I like, I want to toss and run by Connor because I don't want to step on his toes if it was something he was waiting on or if he was going to have it for the show or whatnot. So, but we both like this. This is on his list, and we are both playing Rashee Rice over 37.5. There's 36.5 out there. It's kind of all over the place. It's moving quite a bit right now. But we are playing 37.5 minus 115 on DraftKings. Again, we both like this line. Pretty straightforward. He's an ascending player that every time he kind of gets out there, makes some plays. Last week, only 4 targets, caught all 4. Real low ADOT, but has some spark after the catch, 72 yards. Now we have the scenario with Justin Watson out with a dislocated elbow. It's really hard to not see maybe 60% of the snaps for Rashee Rice. Last week it was 50. That was a season high, but he played like 60 once Watson went out. So both of us like this play in the spot against the Chargers, who you should be able to pick apart through the air. Connor, you want to expand on anything here in terms of Rashee Rice?
I think you summed up pretty well there, to be honest. But just like when I watch Rashee Rice, sometimes he catches the ball and he just like explodes. Like it's very clear that he's like their best wide receiver by far. Like it's not even close at this point. They obviously drafted him high. They had pre-draft workouts with him and Patrick Mahomes. They're building more rapport. They've been talking him up. Now we have Justin Watson out, leaving more opportunity for him. I'm sure MBS, I'm sure Sky Moore is still going to be running wind sprints out there, but those guys don't earn targets. So like, I think that's a big deal. Also, Derwin James in practice again. So I know that he mostly lines up on Kelsey, but I think having 2 viable weapons there with Rashee Rice and Kelsey there, I think that's going to be their duo going forward because we've talked about it before. Like this Kansas City offense needs more than just Kelsey. It can't operate with a aging tight end over the middle. You know what I mean? Like it needs more than that. And I think that Rice can be that guy here. So we're getting a line of 36.5 yards in a matchup here where the Chargers are allowing 30. I think they're dead last in explosive pass rate allowed. Was the stat? Like they're literally allowing the most explosive pass plays in the league. So we're at a number where it's not like an all it takes is one number, but pretty close. I mean, we're like, couple of receptions here and a long one, and we're good to go.
Yeah, the thing is the average of the target's so low, so he's got to do it, run after the catch. But that's what he's done, and that's what I think we all agree that Kansas City's offense needs at this point. So, at a certain point, like again, this isn't you typically see or you hear a lot about like that rookie post buy bump. We don't have that here, but we do have an injury. And we do have like the 10-day bump with the mini buy coming off of a Thursday night. So like, I do think that helps Rice here get just a little bit more acclimated, a little bit more comfortable with understanding that he's stepping into an expanded role. And yeah, I think it's only a matter of time because just like you said, there's guys are out there a little bit more, but they're not target earners. And that's kind of what Rice was at SMU. I mean, he really was a massive target earner in college as well. So I'm excited to see him get a little bit more. Slop, any thoughts on Rashee Rice, 37.5?
I mean, I don't see why you stop there. I mean, 90 plus 950 at DraftKings is kind of calling my name.
Oh, baby.
I mean, here's the thing. The Chargers kind of stopped the run like a little bit. Like they're not a good bunch, but they're not somebody that you could just line up and gash. So teams have been throwing on them. Guess what? Receivers kind of go wild. I think only like 5 teams have given up more receiving yards to wide receivers. So there's your mark. I get that got kind of hit a lot by the Dolphins in the week 1. I mean, they had like 1,000 yards on them, but still, if you look back, like last week, I think it was CeeDee Lamb was just an automatic play. Like he went way over his number. Well, I'm not saying this guy's CeeDee Lamb, but I'm just saying like receivers can get home whenever they want on them, and that's the Chiefs receiver. I mean, that's him. Like there's like Connor said, Sky Moore is not the guy. They went and just traded and got Hardman back. You know what I mean? So like there's this red flashing sign saying, "Hey, we don't have a receiver." You know what I mean? Well, that's their guy is Rice. So without Watson, I don't see why not.
Unfortunately, Fanatics does not have a Rashee Rice.
I already looked, bro.
But yeah, I mean, like,
it's like, all right, well, my new favorite book, Fanatics. Let's see what they got.
I mean, he did 72 last week. 70 plus is 4-1, 80 plus 6-1. Looks like we're locked.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. I mean, we're locked out on whatever the top number was. That's shout out to someone in this chat hammering whatever that was. 90 plus 850 as Slot mentioned. So yeah, I mean,
950 now.
Yeah, so there are other ways to go about this too, which I think makes a ton of sense. And there are ways to structure the laddering so that you can, you can do it your own way, however you want to do it. But you could do ways that like you can cover the binary prop so that you're still profitable, and then layer in some of the other layers of the ladder as you go. So that way, you don't lose your hat if he doesn't hit the highest leg of the ladder per se. So yeah, definitely smart ways to do that.
You know how bad you have to be running a route on almost like 60% plus of the snaps and have your prop line be at 13.5 MVS. I mean, what a joke. Like that is like that's some clown shit right there. 13.5 receiving yards is his line. I don't even know if does Sky Moore even have a line. Yeah, 23.5. I mean, that's again, they're literally out there almost every play with Patrick Mahomes, and their line is 20.5.
Here's how I know the Rice guy is week 1 against the Lions. I had Sky Moore, so I'm watching him. I'm like, that guy is never open. You know what I mean? Like he's literally closed 24/7. Like he's never open. So like the opposite of 7-Eleven. And it's just like, all right, well, like this guy stinks. And that's when we saw Rice. I remember him from SMU. They're like, all right, that kid was nice, so we'll see what happens to him. And just week to week, you watch him more and more, and you realize like they have to have somebody other than Kelsey, and it's that kid. Like that's the kid.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead. What do you got, Connor?
Matt brings up a good point here. Kelsey goes for 200. I mean, without Derwin James, it didn't even matter before. Like, Kelsey was still getting his own with Derwin James. And yeah, without him, I mean, it's basically be whenever they want it, but there has to be someone else there.
Now he's a reception guy for me, Kelsey, at this time. Like, I don't know why. Like, just get the yards, man. I mean, sometimes I guess he breaks them, but receptions for him, he'll catch 10 plus balls, no problem.
Plus 330 slop.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me get rid of these legs. Let me see what this is. Can you go? Oh, they won't let me do this. I was trying to get Kelsey 10 plus receptions, 155 yards.
We have just jumped the shark. We used to be serious people, and it's just kind of like
we're not anymore. That's okay.
We all have a role in 7 weeks. Game.
Yeah.
In our defense, we've been hitting though. Like, go back and watch some of the shows. Like, Jesus Christ,
1,000%.
Like Gardner Minshew. I mean, not to brag, he was saying 300 plus last week. What's up? I mean,
you called that last week. I mean, we had some absolute bangers. I think we won units.
Guys are doing it, and I'm not the only one.
Yeah, this is we'll play around with that, but all right.
Go for that one. Now that I think about it, I just started looking at those lines in Fanatics for the Chargers Chiefs. Like, I know what I'm doing after dinner tonight.
All right, some defensive stuff. Tackles. We got a bunch of tackle plays on the board. We got on the board with the W last night. Foye Oluokun, just absolute king shit. One tackle basically through the first quarter. He needed 10.5. The guy had 14 basically by the start of the fourth quarter. He's absolutely unbelievable. The actual leader so far in tackles in the season is Zaire Franklin. Came up a little short for us last week. I'm going to go back to the well. It's not out right now, so we can't bet it. It was his first poor showing really of the season. He had 8 tackles, so that's a bad game for him. He has at least 12 in every other game. He's back home, and this is the best scorekeeper situation on the board this week in Indianapolis. Colts games are averaging 1.274 tackles per opportunity on the season. So basically they give out a lot of assists. And we've had Franklin play 3 home games this season. It's at least 5 assists in all those games. He has 12, and 17 tackles in those 3 games. So projection at about 11.5, about 7 and change for solos. We'll probably see him at 10.5. I think 11.5 would be very, very unusual for them to see. Now, again, they play the Browns, and even last week in a situation like against the backup quarterback against a great defense, the Browns ran 70 plays. They lead the league in average plays per game this season, partially because they turned everyone over on 3 and out. So the offense keeps getting volume of plays here anytime they get any sort of first down. So even a conservative game projection here, we're looking at 65, 63 plays. I have 63 plays, and I'm still coming out with almost 11.5 tackles for Franklin. So that'll probably be a play. There'll be some more tackles. You want to be in the Discord for that. So 4for4.com/plans. Use the promo code PropDrop. But I want to go a little bit off the board here. I started modeling sacks early in the season. I just haven't been able to keep up with it and just kind of have this very basic thing that I have running here. But let's just go off the top with what we know. Sam Howell has been sacked 34 times this season in 6 games. He has a pressure to sack rate. So let me give you context. 20% is high. Anything north of 20% is high. Patrick Mahomes is 7%. Sam Howell's pressure to sack rate is 33.7% of the time. So basically a third of the time he feels pressure, he's going down, which is insane. Daniel Jones is second. So if Daniel Jones happens to get cleared here, we could go both sides. We could go same game parlay with sacks, because what Chase Young's been doing since he came back is nuts. He's averaging 7 hurries per game, which is insane. So we can go there. But for now, let's just go on the Giants side. Kayvon Thibodeau, 4 sacks in his past 4 games, coming off of a season high, 6 hurries last week against the Bills, and now we get Sam Howell. We don't even need a full sack here. We need a half a sack. He is over 0.25 sacks on DraftKings at -120. So we just need him to get a half a sack with someone else. There's going to be at least 4 or 5 Howell sacks. So, if Thibodeau is still going to be doing, 5-6 hurries a game, he's going to fall into a half a sack in the spot. So -120 here. Absolutely love it. There's some other sack stuff that I like. It's a little juicy. Maybe we'll play some of it here for our subscribers on Discord. But pretty low bar here we don't even need he's not a half sack. He's not 0.75. He just needs to share one with someone. -120. Love that one. So Sam Howell's going down here. Connor, any thoughts on the sacks?
No, I love it. I mean, Sam Howell is just a sack machine. It's almost like Justin Fields. He's got a little Baker Mayfield in him kind of too. He kind of just holds the ball for way too long and just drifts, just kind of sits there and drifts. He's not he's not athletic enough. He is athletic, but not enough to really get away from people. So I don't know. I think that it's kind of interesting there. I think that the sack call is great.
Yeah, I would love to see Daniel Jones in there too. Slop, any thoughts on the sacks here?
Yeah, no, does Fanatics have sacks?
They do not.
Let's go. No, I kind of want to see something for Jones too, though, because he's one of those tall, lanky. Remember Flacco? He reminds me of that, but Flacco, but with wheels. You know what I mean? It's just how they look when he moves. One of those. Have you ever seen the big poodles, the giant poodles? The tall, when they run, they're clumsy. It looks like they're just gonna fall down, but they never do. But Jones does. So I don't know. I think Young gets him. I know Jones is fast, but it takes him a second to get going. If you've ever bet his props, you know what I mean. It's not. He's a top end speed. So I think Young definitely get him.
Young's been awesome since he came back. He has been, he's been wild. I closed some of the tabs I had open on some of his stuff, but he has 31 pressures. He's played, 1 in some instances, 2 fewer games than some of the other guys that are up there. And I think he's only 5 or 6 pressures behind Max Crosby, who's been absolutely killing it this season. So what Young's been doing since he came back, and then you look at the offensive line for the Giants, 3 starters, maybe 4 starters out in this game. Montez Sweat,
disaster.
It's disaster. So the only thing is if it ends up being, not Daniel Jones, Tyrod does get the ball up pretty quick. He's a little bit more athletic. So his time to pressure to sack rate's a little bit lower. So that made me a little bit more nervous, but still with this offensive line, I'm not going to hesitate here too. I'm going to see, can you build a same game parlay with defensive with the sacks? I think you maybe can. Yeah, I think
I was in charge to be able to.
That's my favorite part about you, Slop, is that you're just a smart man of the people. I think you probably can here.
We have someone in our Discord saying they just downloaded Fanatics. I feel like we should.
Yeah, dude, yeah. You don't have to
we got a new show sponsor. Should we just show them the show, and they'll be? Yeah. I mean, we're going to get thousands of ad dollars for the entire year just off this show alone.
Promo code 4 for 4.
No, that Giants offensive line, I'm serious, might be the worst line I've ever seen. I say like this is the best bet I've ever seen, like every day, and the worst this or worst that. I'm serious, like worst ever. Like in terms of if there a stat on like how many times a guy doesn't touch the guy that he's supposed to block? And like, have you seen that? Like they literally, the guy stands up and doesn't even touch the edge rush, but the guy just runs right by him and you're just like, what the hell just happened? Like, why would at least get a hand on him? But nothing. Like, and sometimes they stand up and like fall down. Like really, like, while they don't, they also fall down. Like literally stand up, trip over their own feet, and they're on the ground. Like this is stupid. Like it's almost like a hidden cam show. You know what I mean? Like what's that show? They practice poker's like, hey, now just fall on the ground. You know what I mean? And like, listen, it's not that bad. It's just like this is so bad. So like you'll get a free one with Young. Does he have numbers out?
Yeah, so he's over 0.75, so you need a full sack on DraftKings minus 145.
Yeah, I want to see a ladder on him. Give me 2.
Yeah, 2 sacks.
Yeah. Because he's getting a free one. I'm telling you, one of those guys is going to stand up and just fall down, or they're just not even going to touch him. That happens every game. Like I'm telling you, I've been taking Jones passing over because I've been thinking like they're going to get rolled and they're going to have to throw to come back in. So I've been watching it. It's like you can't do it anymore because the line is the reason why you can't. I mean, like I don't think he's good, but that line does him no favors whatsoever. Like
it's not good. Same price for over 0.75 sacks for Max Crosby. Again, that's minus 145 on DraftKings. Tyson Bagent. Again, the Bears offensive line is also massively depleted. So like, again, that kid got the ball out fairly quick last game. Again, like just Max Crosby has been such a dog this season. So that's another one that, again, you need a full sack. It's a little juicy, but man, I have a hard time not envisioning Max Crosby getting at least one. He's literally playing every down, which is also very rare for defensive ends. So like he's going to be in for, literally every single drop back, no matter what. So that's going to help him quite a bit. So yeah, those are some of the interesting sack looks this week. Again, if we get Daniel Jones in there, how's the other one? Like it's not Dexter Lawrence. There's a couple others on the Giants. Like you could just spray the board on the Giants, to be honest. They're like, a quarter. Yeah, they're like a quarter sack. These guys can get a half a sack and they're like plus odds. Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence plus 130 for over a quarter sack. He doesn't have a sack on the year, so that's not encouraging. But he's like 6th in hurries. So he is like in there a lot. So this would be a spot where like Sam Howell is a slump breaker, gets you over the edge and gets him to get a full one for the first time this season. So yeah, if you wanted to spray the board, Lawrence is plus money, Williams is plus money. And then you got to lay a little bit of juice now on Thibodeau because people are betting it. But otherwise, I mean, those are your 3 options on the Giants side. And then same thing, you can get some stuff down here if we do get Daniel Jones. So some sacks in that game. You cannot same game parlay individual players on DraftKings. It looks like for sacks, unfortunately. So it's like minus 4,000 for the Giants to have a sack in this game, minus 3,000 for the Commanders. So you're gonna have to build some other legs into that one. Add some Curtis Samuel, figure out some other stuff. But yeah, that's a tough one for me. So. All right, we spent so much time on the defensive side and with our Sunday night football same game parlays. We didn't leave a lot of meat on the bone, but let's jump through some of the stuff here. Our boy Benny, shout out Benny, 3rd year of the 4 for 4 betting sub, still playing with the profits from his first year, sub to have. Shout out Benny, we appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate that a lot. What else we got here? Let's see, Ben, Capwise, what's going on? Appreciate it. Makes me really want a same game parlay MVS Moore and Rice. Like, look, I mean, the bar's low. What?
Super low.
Yeah.
Slop. What is it? Fanatics have MVS 50 yards.
It looks like
1,000 to 1.
Yeah, it looks like they don't have like the bums. They just like
they don't have the bums.
I mean, I don't really want to call them bums, but like you know what I'm saying.
Dude, they're bums. I mean, they're scrubs. Like, you're
getting like Yeah, Keenan Allen, Kelsey. They'll give you Palmer. So, I mean, like, they'll give you some of the ancillary guys. But, like, Palmer is, like, a legit 2 now. So, but Everett, Pacheco, like, but you're not getting – oh, my bad. I wasn't even looking at the right section. Yeah, you're not getting any of the other guys.
No, that probably makes sense, though.
And they make you go – yeah, they make you go pretty up there with some of these guys. So, you got to be careful.
Brian Sullivan shouting out Mac Hollins. Looks like over 12.5 on DraftKings. Prop builder 13.5, hit in 5 of 6. Pretty low threshold. Definitely it takes one, but I don't know if you guys have any. I probably didn't formulate any Mac Hollins thoughts pre-show. What do you got, Connor?
25 plus on Fanatics.
There you go.
Or FanDuel, whatever. Take some alt somewhere else. I'm not betting a binary yes no on Mac Hollins. I get it, but it's just like, it's not my cup of tea. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you can get there, but I can't do it.
He's got great hair, though, that guy.
He does.
Like, I'm a big hair guy, and he's got great hair. So there is that.
Max Crosby shout out. Yeah, he wants his lunch money from the Bears. Yeah, he's gonna work a little bit here. We already talked about that one.
If we don't have any left, there's an interesting one. Deonta Foreman just dropped at 60 rushing yards. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. I know but it's the Raiders, though.
You want to go under so bad, don't
you? Oh, he does. Yeah. What happened to Roshan? Is Roshan out?
He's out.
Okay. That's a bummer. Yeah. Connor's going to go under on that one, I have a feeling. A couple others here.
I don't know. The Raiders stink.
Yeah, they do. That's the problem.
Bears offensive line so bad. Ben again, cap wise, thoughts on Devontae Adams? Squeaky wheel narrative here with Devontae Adams, 68.5. Again, squeaky wheel, but we also have the quarterback situation, which is really dicey. Again, we have a Bears secondary that's pretty atrocious as well. So does feel square. Does not necessarily feel too square though. That doesn't mean it's not a good play. Any thoughts on Devontae here, Slop?
Strong maybe. Very, very strong maybe. Maybe the strongest maybes. But I like, in a situation like that game, I'd like to have a guy that I think is going to get targeted more than usual at a very low number. And that's what Mayer sold me as. Whereas like the top dog of there, I don't know. Like, what if the Raiders can run on them and get out to a lead? Like, you're drawn dead early, but at the same time, when you got somebody over 20.5 yards, like, no matter what the game script is, you're probably still around. So that's why I lean there. But no, Adams would be the receiver I'd go to, just so there is that.
Yeah, you make a good point. Sounds like a live ad, right? So on our side, in terms of like content, putting out official plays, that's something that's hard for us to do. But it's sometimes you just see how the nature of the game is going in the first quarter, first couple of possessions, and then all of a sudden you can take some shots live and make some money that way for sure. I jumped in Kyron Williams last week at like 35.5 rushing yards at halftime. Like, he had like 4 in the first half, and then he had 35 after like 4 carries in the start of the third quarter and went absolutely bananas because they barely had the ball and they had like 3 or 4 attempts. So live ads, if you happen to watch with the screens open a little bit, like you don't have to be a day trader in arbing situations all day long, but like you can find some spots where you can pick off some bad live lines a little bit too. So a couple real quick. Brian wants to know about Brian Robinson over 62.5. That does not feel like a Connor play. Maybe it's a slot play. Slop, any thoughts on Brian Robinson?
I'm out on running backs. Like, just unless
position as a whole.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Like, we don't need him. Yeah. But no offense to running.
I kind of liked it, honestly.
They're tough, man. They're so tough. No, if you're gonna take him though, you got to go under, and that's why I don't like him because I'm not doing that. So it's like, all right, well, I'm out. Just because like you get game scripted out. It's just what you just said, Ryan. Like, that's a definite play it live and play it for a much better number if you get a favorable situation. So yeah, it's tough to do that for me pre-flop.
Yeah. All right, guys. That wraps us up. We appreciate it as always. Slop, Odds Jam. What do the people need?
If you want to try it out, best pricing tools I think I've ever used for any kind of pricing, but definitely for sports betting. But yeah, free 2 weeks, promo code SLOP. Go get the positive EV tool. I'm telling you right now, it works. I use it all the time. Promo code SLOP.
You bought your house off of the pricing tool there, right? You found your.
I might have. Definitely redoing the kitchen because of it. But there's that.
There you go.
Good stuff. Connor, you'll be firing some unders here in the Discord. I'm assuming. You got a couple extra hours. You're in the West Coast time right now.
I know it's 1 p.m. right now. I don't know. I might go to the beach for a little bit. I'll fire some, on the way there, and then, crack open a Corona and just, write up a couple more and fire some more plays. I mean, it feels like a good week to be an under. That's what it feels like. It feels like a good week to just litter the board with unders. I'm talking like 10 unders maybe this week.
That's why I hate this week. I hate. That's why I have so many X's over the games. I don't even look into there, bro. You're gonna galaxy brain yourself into taking some bet that has no chance of winning.
Yeah.
Slop, do you take notes on a notepad, or like you got an Excel sheet? Oh yes, love it. Let's go.
And I literally write down no stupid game. Double X. Don't even go in there. Like whenever you see it on FanDuel, don't even open up that game. Like there's nothing in there for you.
Yeah. The Judge Judy, you open up the laptop and you look and you close it right away. But don't go into the Giants Commanders. There's nothing good in there for you.
Nothing except for sacks.
Sacks and Curtis Samuel.
I think I'm in now. And Curtis Samuel, maybe. If I throw in the sacks, maybe you do the Curtis Samuel just because you want something to watch. You know what I mean?
It's true.
If they don't get a sack, you're like, all right, maybe throw it to him.
He threw the ball. Yeah, threw it to Curtis Samuel. All right.
That guy can get a catch as if, because he's like 2 yards away from the line of scrimmage. So if he does get the ball off, it's probably going to Samuel.
That's the point. Get it out quick. Low A dot slot receiver. Perfect. You guys get it. You see it's all coming together. So again, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Before you leave, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit us with a thumbs up. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Again, podcast is available as well if you want to check that out in case you aren't always able to check out the YouTube show. But take advantage. Use the promo code. You can use the promo code YouTube. Prop Drop, same. Prop Drop is going to save you 25% off of an already discounted price on 4for4.com/plans. And we will be back to do it all again next week. So hope you guys had some fun. Let's make some money. Let's ladder that Sunday night game for Connor and Slop and Ryan. We'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.